Now it's the time to build a team. So as project management, you need to identify the members for your team. So those are the list of questions you should ask yourself. What kind of experience is needed? If you're dealing with a project that is a hospital-related project, that person should have some experience on dealing with Medicare projects before. If the project that are residential related, maybe you should find team members who have dealt with residential project before. Again, it really depends on the type of position that you're looking for. Are they available? If they're available, when are they going to be available? What kind of knowledge and skills are needed for the particular task you want that person to do? Are they personally invested in the outcome of the project? You really want to find someone who is going to take the ownership of the project. Then that person is going to be really dedicated into this project, and you would expect better outcome from that person. And the last thing is you have to make sure the person can work well with other team members. We always have to do a teamwork. For construction projects, it's not individual person's work. We have to work as a team. So you have to make sure the person can work well with other team members. You always have to monitor whether the team can function or not. Sometimes it is possible that one person just cannot work well with a specific person. So in that case, if you try to assign that person to a team, you have to really understand the dynamics between the team members. So here in the next couple of slides, I just want to show how you can use some of the tools to help you to assign the person to a specific job. Depending on the level of management, the tier of the worker that you're looking for. So for example, this is a responsibility assignment matrix. There are different phases and you have to assign different person. Some person may be the primary responsible for a specific task, and maybe sometimes you just need a person to review some work for you, or maybe you need to get some input from that specific person, or maybe a signature is needed from a person, so that you can use this kind of matrix to help you identify the team members and also the responsibilities for each of those team members. For the specific construction tasks, oftentimes we have to match the skills to the specific tasks that we're working with. So what skills are needed for each task in the project? So you have to ask yourself those kind of questions. The skill set, how much experience, 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years experience, or maybe you don't really have a person that needs a lot of experience. You can just train them from the job. So do they have to have a certain certification or education? If that person is going to work with other person, is the interpersonal skills needed or not? And how many of those people with a certain type of skills are needed? All right, depending on the type of job and also the quantity of the work, you need to understand the productivity of each person. Then you can identify how many people are needed for that kind of work. Other question to consider is, if you could choose anyone, who would you choose? All right, so if you have multiple candidate, but you still want to find the best person to your team. And if you select the team, select that person, how much supervision is needed? Some people, they are quite sufficient and they can work very independently without much supervision. Right? So that's kind of the person you need to look for. But sometimes it can be a little challenging. And you can also hire a person internally or externally. Right? So sometimes you may already have some people in-house, and you can ask that person to assign that person to that specific work. Sometimes you have to go through an internal search in order to fill that position. As we just said, we have to match the skill to task. One important tool for you guys to learn about is you can always use a work breakdown structure, which is something that we're going to learn later in the course. You can break the work into different divisions and have different hierarchies, and you figure out what specific work is needed, and then based on the work you find the specific person needed for that particular type of work task. So for example, here for grading, there's a excavation needed, so you need to find someone who may be able to operate the machine, etc. So you can go from the top of the list to the bottom to find out what specific type of skill is needed for your team. This tool is applicable to contractors, subcontractors, because this is a really detailed level of work that we're dealing with. So at the end of the lecture, I want you guys to review those 2 slides, make sure you understand all the questions that are asked in the learning objectives, and you are able to answer those questions. So those are just highlights from this entire lecture. All right, I'll see you guys in the next lecture.